Hi, I'm Kelly Snyder, business owner, mother, and board member for CAPSA. CAPSA is a nonprofit victim support center serving Cache and Rich counties. Our mission is to provide safe, caring, and confidential shelter, advocacy, and support for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, and to prevent and reduce incidents of abuse through education. This work is critical as domestic violence and sexual abuse are far more pervasive than most realize. In Utah, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 7 men will experience interpersonal violence in their lifetime. CAPSA's support phone line operates 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. When you call CAPSA at 753-2500, it is answered by a trauma-informed employee who provides immediate support and connects you to a caseworker for personalized advocacy. Once they are linked to CAPSA, the advocate will immediately begin safety planning with the victim, and if unsafe, offer refuge in our emergency shelter. Domestic violence is complicated and often dangerous. Domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women and the single largest cause for homicides in Utah. For an individual or family fleeing domestic violence, they often have nowhere safe to go. CAPSA's emergency shelter provides a safe place to pause, take a breath, and have the peace to plan their next steps. While in shelter, residents meet with a caseworker daily to build and complete an action plan, which includes securing housing, jobs, registering children in new schools, and beginning legal or civil proceedings. We often hear from survivors that CAPSA's shelter was the first time they felt safe in years. Each path for a survivor is unique. The role of CAPSA's caseworkers is to meet the individual or family on their path and walk with them, showing them options and supporting and encouraging them to safety. Casework is focused on ensuring safety, confidentiality, and removing tangible barriers that may cause someone to return to an abusive relationship. CAPSA's caseworkers encourage self-determination and help survivors build plans based on their goals. This includes building safety plans, completing protective orders, attending court, advocating with law enforcement, navigating cultural barriers, identifying and securing resources, and making connections to other services and agencies. A common concern among victims of abuse is a lack of control. For example, when a rape survivor reports to law enforcement, it triggers an investigation, and this investigation is outside of the victim's control. Because CAPSA's caseworkers are confidential, community-based advocates, survivors can tell their whole story. Caseworkers will talk through potential outcomes, allowing the victim to self-determine the next steps. Having a safe place without judgment to share one's story increases positive outcomes, including increased participation in the criminal justice system. Domestic violence is the #1 contributor to homelessness for women and mothers and their children. CAPSA's emergency shelter is critical in diverting homelessness. However, to successfully prevent homelessness, it requires helping individuals and families find safe and stable homes. CAPSA's housing program is among the best in the state of Utah and is a national model for transitional housing programs. It is available to clients for up to 2 years and incorporates housing subsidies with advocacy and educational support. CAPSA's housing program supports more than 200 individuals throughout our community. Many victims of domestic violence don't qualify for traditional housing because of inadequate work history or poor credit. CAPSA also owns and manages 21 homes. These homes are part of CAPSA's transitional housing program and incorporate the same housing subsidies, advocacy, and education for families for up to 2 years. I remember hearing a story of a client asking her caseworker for help with budgeting. The caseworker went to her home and asked to see her bills. The survivor pointed to a corner of the room with fear in her eyes, where there was a stack of unopened bills. For this survivor, she had never had access to money, paid bills, or worked with a budget. The caseworker helped her build a plan to contact and pay past due accounts and build a budget moving forward. This is advocacy and an example of the support survivors receive in CAPSA's housing program. Often, victims of domestic violence and/or sexual abuse can experience PTSD, dissociation, anxiety, and depression. CAPSA provides free clinical therapy for individuals who have experienced trauma from abuse, whether they're currently experiencing the abuse or it happened years ago. As a CAPSA board member, it has been my honor to share more about CAPSA and the services CAPSA offers. Although this is only a glimpse at the breadth of services, I hope you can see how CAPSA supports victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, and you feel confident in encouraging a friend or loved one to contact CAPSA.